Welcome to Ellis Mowers and more. Today we got this Troy Bilt Mustang Z46 mower in, and I'm honestly surprised that it's not burned to the ground based on some of the wiring that I have seen where they were trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do, but we're going to see what we can do to get this back to where it's doing what it needs to do with the wiring here coming up. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, if that intro didn't really make a lot of sense, there's a reason why, because what I see here with the wiring doesn't make a lot of sense either. I don't know what they did. I'll show you. Well, I have an idea, but I'm wondering if they're troubleshooting a safety switch issue or something. I'm not sure, but we do have a safety switch that's zip-tied closed here, and we have the trigger wire that goes through this fuse going to the starter solenoid is off, like they had spliced it for something, and then this ground wire has been spliced as well. I would assume that that goes right there, so we'll put an end on that and put that right back there. Again, for the starter solenoid, we'll splice a little bit longer cable here to go to the terminal of this starter solenoid as well. But if you look closely here, take a look at where this should be the ground cable, negative cable, and this is the positive battery cable here. And take a look at where the ground cable is. On the positive battery terminal going to the starter side of the solenoid. So that had to have been fun whenever they turned the key and wired up some batteries to get this going. Crazy. I will say that. So surprised that this thing ain't burned to the ground, and that hopefully we don't have any burned up wiring going to the, I mean, all of this looks good, so I'm assuming that it just did some crazy stuff. And hopefully just blew a fuse or something along those lines. So we can check the fuse, and can I do it with one hand? I may not be able to. If you give me a second, I'll get it out. If this isn't blown, then that means somebody... Yeah, that thing's blown to smithereens, so... It's a 15 amp fuse in there too. Usually you see a 20, but either way. So what I've got to do, hopefully, all I have to do here is ground this right here, pigtail this, and put it on the, what side of the battery would I have to put that on? I'll double check myself on what side I have to put this on. I believe it's the starter side. Because when the key throws 12 volts to this, it engages across to the battery. And then we're going to put this ground wire somewhere where it's supposed to be as well, to where it is grounding properly to what it needs to ground to. So I'm thinking I could put both of these right here where the starter solenoid is for the ground, and put the pigtail this to here. And we'll be good. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I just figured that this is, hopefully that's all we've got. I just figured that this, for a lot of viewers, would be like, wow. Also, these cables were basically touching each other here between the positive and the negative. So, man, I don't know. Crazy. But I'll button this up. I'll show you what it looks like after I button it all up. And then hopefully that's all we need to do in order to get this thing to start. Alright, so we got wiring work that we've done, and I believe we're done with the wiring work part of it, but I believe the ignition coils have been a casualty of the bad wiring job, as the mower does not have any spark whenever I crank it. So that is interesting. So here's what I did. I just need to do a couple zip ties and stuff here, but We've got the new fuse in. I've got the red wire. I butt connected it, and actually I mistakenly said it goes on the side that the starter's on. It goes on the side that the battery is on. And then obviously hook the battery up, the starter wire, and then the ground wire is hooked here to the solenoid, as well as the battery ground hooked to the solenoid here. And so we do have, it's turning over, but it's not sparking. So let's see if I can get back here and show you the spark real quick. If y'all can see that, we're going to turn it over. I've got it hooked to the plug here, and it's not doing anything. So a couple of courses of action here. Is unplug the little wire for the ignition coils. The good news is it is PTO clutch works. So what I'm going to do is pull the cover off of this thing, which is just a few 8mm. I got to take the two 10mm off right here and 8mm right here, and on the other side, and I have, I think, a couple of 8mm under here. Two in the front gets this off, and then I'm going to do a little bit of testing to see if spark comes back whenever we pull the kill wire for these ignition coils, because now it's just getting flooded with gas basically. So I'm going to take this cover off here. The good news is we've got it cranking over, turning over. We can fix these spark issues, I think, relatively easily. We just got to do it. So I'll get the cover off, and we'll see what entails after that with what we've got to do. Alright, so took those bolts off, got this cover off. I wanted to show you what we've got going on here. It looks like we've got almost like a little melted piece on this ignition coil right there where my finger is. And this one right here is just straight up cracked. So not the best here with this. So I'm thinking that these, because I pulled the kill wire off of both of them and they should just spin. They're not. Granted that this one's cracked and this one's got a little shiny area down here on the bottom. Makes me think that 12 volts got to them, and there's not 12 volt ignition coils on this Kohler engine. So we're going to pull these off. Pretty easy to do, thankfully. Let's see if I can pull her off here. I don't know how old this mower is. I would imagine it's like a 16 model, maybe. Oh, it's a 22. This thing's almost new. Well, 3 years old. So 8 mils. What stinks is Husqvarna in the garage. I was gonna put this together with ignition coils that I just got, because I need to do a coil swap on an engine swap that I'm doing on it. It looks like these coils are going to go to this. I mean, look at that. So that's just, yeah, that's not varnish. That's just straight up rubber from where this coil melted. So these things are done. And he better be fortunate that hopefully this is all that has been compromised here, because this could have been a lot worse. So I mean, this, here we go. So this coil is cracked on the bottom. So yeah, they got fried. But let me grab these coils here. And although these are not the exact match to these, they should work still. So, and I've just got to make sure that I put them up correctly. So this is the upside, it says. And the upside for this side. So that would be how these go. We'll plug them in, and then what we'll do is we'll gap them. And when you gap them, I'll show y'all real quick how to gap one of these, if I can get around to it. Got to find me a business card. So let's find the business card over here. And so what I'll do now is pull the magnet over here. Wouldn't surprise me if you had to put a voltage regulator on this thing too, but we'll see. So let's pull this out, put that card in. That card has seen much better days, but that's okay. We'll slide it in right there like so. We'll grab our bolts. And we'll he's very fortunate that this thing did not burn to the ground. He had somebody else work on it, and that's some crazy stuff. And then we'll do the other side over here. Hopefully this is all we got to do, so I'll go ahead and keep the camera rolling here. And we'll get this magnet right here. And put the card in. Like I said, this card right here is toast, but it still holds a gap, and that's all we need it to do. So there we are. And push this in, tighten them down. Slide that business card out of the way. And we'll plug in our plug wires here. I actually got to plug in our ground wire. Plug in our plug wires. This should work out great. I gotta hurry up because the guys next door, or they're about to cut the yard next door to me, so it's gonna get loud. Well, I can't get that one on for that plug. Did I get it in? I think it did. Alright. I should have plugged spark back in it, but just for kicks, let's see. Good. I need to double check my plugs and stuff, but awesome. So we'll get it all back together. I'll make sure everything works and everything. Probably let these guys do their thing, go to town, and I'll catch up with y'all a couple hours later with hopefully the final part of this video. Like I said, he's very fortunate that all he did was fry ignition coils and blow a fuse, because it could have been a lot worse. Alright guys, we're done. I'll show you that it runs and drives and cuts like it's supposed to now. The blades were a little bit slow, and I'll show you why. So I have it correctly now for the tension on the belt, but somebody had put this over on the other side of the mower deck here, joining that hole right there, and so it wasn't enough tension. But then also the blades were loose, so I was able to tighten them up, thankfully. And I think we're ready to go now, so let's check everything out. This thing's trying to choke when it starts, though. So that's it there. Seems to choke easily, but I think they make a bunch of variations of these ignition coils, and I think these they obviously go on a variant of a Kohler Command or Kohler Courage, Kohler 7000 series engine, and I think it may just, I don't know, timing wise, I think it's fine. I just think it's just throwing a bunch of gas once you crank it up, but it will crank up, run. As you can see, it runs fine once you get it cranked, so it could just be maybe a fuel pump that's overly happy. But it's all back going again. It should be ready to go for the guy. Man, they're lucky on this one, though, because whatever they did, putting the negative on the starter solenoid and the positive on the starter solenoid, it's a good thing they didn't burn down the mower, number one, didn't fry a starter, and the only thing they fried were the ignition coils. So, new coils, a rewiring of the harness here to get the grounds in the correct spot and get the power in the correct spot, and he's back in business, so should be good. Thank you all again very much for watching the small engine repair video, a quick one, but a good lesson as to what not to do when you're trying to figure out wiring or other issues on a zero-turn or riding mower in general. Thank you all again very much. I will catch y'all on the next video.